We're starting with the question why design matters. Design isn't just about appearance. It's about how learners experience content. As the quote on the slide states from Steve Jobs, design is not just what it looks like and feels like, design is how it works. A hard to read font or low contrast color scheme can be a real barrier. But when we design with intention, we improve clarity, usability, and engagement for all. Design either opens the door or quietly closes it. So today we're going to examine a few design choices that work for more people. So for some context, our learners bring different ways of seeing, literally. Color differentiation, screen glare, aging or tired eyes, and low contrast devices all shape how materials are experienced. Red might signal danger in one context and celebration in another. Good design considers these variables so that no one is left behind. So, what elements are we designing? First, we're going to talk about font. Font choices shape how easily someone can absorb content. Sans serif font like Arial or Calibri tend to be more readable, especially on screens. Font size should match the context. Slides need larger text than handouts, for example. Consistency in font size and line spacing also makes a big difference. So for example, left alignment helps maintain even spacing between words and letters, while justified text can introduce awkward gaps that disrupt readability. Limit italics and all caps. These reduce legibility and can cause letters to visually blur together. And reserve underlines for actual hyperlinks. Otherwise, learners may think something is clickable when it's not. Next, we have the design element of color. Color needs to work for everyone. We want sufficient contrast between the text and background so content remains readable across lighting conditions, screen types, and for people with different vision needs. So according to WCAG 2.0, the recommended minimum is 4.5 to 1 for normal text and 3 to 1 for larger text. Now, contrast is only part of the picture. Avoid using color as your only way to convey meaning. Some users might miss it entirely. That's why hyperlinks are both underlined and blue. The same principle applies across design. Pair color with a second hue like text labels or icons. Now, red-green combinations can be tricky, not only for users with color vision deficiencies like red-green color blindness, but also for anyone using a dim screen or working in low light settings. You can test your design using tools like WebAIM's contrast checker to ensure accessibility compliance. For deeper insight, try previewing your materials with a color blindness simulator. And if you're looking for more context, colorblind awareness is a great resource for building inclusive visual practice. At the end of the day, though, authentic user testing is the best way to go. So consider sharing your materials with colleagues, with students, just to check and collect some user feedback. I decided to include a bonus design elements because I'm starting to see emojis more and more. So emojis aren't just decorative, they're functional symbols that get read aloud by screen readers using their full Unicode name. So the popular clapping between every word meme, it turns into a very noisy and difficult to follow message for anyone using a screen reader. So for example, if the text is displaying design is how it works. We're using the emoji for emphasis. The problem is the screen reader will then read design, clapping hands, is clapping hands, how, clapping hands, it, clapping hands works. But this isn't just about screen readers. Emojis can also interrupt the flow for people reading visually, especially when dropped into sentences mid-thought. They can cause fatigue, distraction, or even confusion, depending on how they're used and how familiar someone is with the emoji's meaning. So use emojis intentionally. If you're trying to convey tone, check that your message still makes sense without the emoji. And remember, emojis can render differently across devices and platforms. Now, fun fact, World Emoji Day is celebrated every year on July 17th. A date chosen because it's the calendar emoji on most platforms. It's a great reminder that emojis are part of our digital culture, but like any design element, they need to be used thoughtfully. So let's move to how to design fonts and colors. Here's what inclusive formatting looks like in action. In both Word and Quarkus, using styles, consistent font sizes, and spacing isn't just about making things look tidy. It helps readers understand structure and makes scanning easier for everyone. Both platforms offer formatting tools that go beyond color, like alignment, bullets, and heading styles. And the styles menu are not just decorative, they create navigation landmarks that assistive technologies can use. These small formatting choices can ripple out into big accessibility wins. The Web Aim contrast checker is a free and easy way to check if your color choices meet accessibility standards. So step one, you can either enter the hex code of your text and background colors or use the eyedropper tool to select colors directly from your screen. Step two, the tool will instantly calculate the contrast ratio. We're aiming for at least 4.5 to 1 for normal text and 3 to 1 for large text. Those are the WCAG 2.0 AA standards. Step three, if your ratio is too low, use the lightness slider to tweak your color until it meets the threshold. You'll notice the ratio update live as you go. This is a great example of how a small design adjustment, like lightening a background or darkening text, can make a big difference in readability. Remember, it's not just about what looks nice, it's about making sure your content is usable and accessible to the widest possible audience. So, our big takeaways. First, use readable fonts, ensure sufficient color contrast, don't rely on color alone to convey meaning, and use emojis sparingly and with purpose. Thumbs up.